Tonight, Mayor Lynn Brewer's assault case to no longer be heard in Whyalla, and an end of an era for Spencer Gulf moviegoers, with Port Lincoln's only cinema to close its doors.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. A man charged with the alleged 2005 murder of his cousin in Tarawi has been refused bail in Port Augusta Magistrates Court today. The decision comes after the prosecution gave fresh details into the alleged crime of the accused. Garth Burley has more.
The accused fronted the Port Augusta Magistrates Court today with the hope of being released on bail just 2 weeks after police laid murder charges against him. It's alleged he murdered his cousin Martin Meffert in the mid-north town of Tarawi 13 years ago, in which he also allegedly stole $136,000 from the bank account of the deceased until 2013. The bail hearing today unearthed new claims from the prosecution about the remains of Meffert, telling the court that 30 to 40% of the skeleton, including the skull, was recovered from a bag in the fireplace of a Tarawi home. The prosecution said there was damage to the skull, which forensic scientists suggest is caused from blunt force trauma. One witness also claiming that the accused once pulled out a box with a human skull in it, some years before the remains were discovered. In court today, the prosecution submitted that the accused was not an appropriate case for bail and would oppose the request. In response, the defence reminded the court that this date was to assess their client's application for bail, not to assess his guilt. However, Magistrate Oates was swift in his decision, refusing bail in all forms, due to the seriousness of the offence, to ensure the integrity of any witnesses, and to ensure the ongoing investigation is not impeded. The accused will be remanded in custody until he faces the court again early next year.
Mayor Lynn Brewer's assault case will no longer be heard in Whyalla. Future court appearances will now take place in Adelaide after the prosecution and defence jointly requested the move.
It's been 11 months since Whyalla Mayor Lynn Brewer allegedly assaulted Angela Antonio, the wife of current mayoral candidate Tom Antonio. Since being charged at the beginning of the year, the case has been delayed due to adjournments as evidence is collected. Today there was some movement, with the pre-trial conference set down for November. However, it won't be held in Whyalla, with the case moving to Adelaide.
What happened was we had made a joint application with prosecution to the Whyalla Magistrates Court to have the matter transferred to Adelaide.
Mr Rismondo says the nature of the case forced a change to having it heard in a neutral setting. It's hoped a setting away from Whyalla will ensure justice can take its course.
There's clear conflicts of interest now, so we're just trying to remove all those factors into it to ensure that there's a fair trial that goes ahead.
Mr Rismondo is confident the case will ultimately be withdrawn. He's also denied there's a bias towards Ms Brewer.
There's a lot of people that believe that there's a connection between the Whyalla Magistrates Court and the Whyalla prosecution, and our client. That is not true. If anything, our client is probably being more scrutinised than your average person.
Mayor Brewer was not required to be in court this morning for the brief hearing. The case will be heard at its new venue, the Adelaide Magistrates Court, next month. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A lack of funding has forced Port Lincoln's only cinema to close its doors. Run by West Coast Youth and Community Support for the last 10 years, operators say it's a devastating loss for the town's youth.
An iconic community venue set to close its doors one last time.
It's absolutely tragic news. It's been a struggle and a difficult decision for the Executive Committee and the Board of West Coast Youth and Community Support as a whole.
The news was broken to Euthoria staff and volunteers at a meeting last night.
I'll be really honest, everybody was in shock last night and it was really hard.
The cinema costs the community organisation $350,000 to run each year, and over the last 10 years, the pressure has been mounting to source enough financial support to keep it running, with multiple unsuccessful bids to attract state or federal funding.
We've had small support over the years for different projects like being able to get a digital projector, but for the ongoing training and employment of young people, we've been unable to attract funding.
The cinema has been vital in helping young people gain employment, allowing more than 200 youth to step into the workforce. Euthoria is set to close on New Year's Eve, but with the news flooding the community with sadness, ideas are already being thrown around in a bid to keep the 90-year-old cinema screens rolling.
I think the community somehow will cobble together a solution Whether that involves counsel or not, I don't know, too early to say.
I am happy to talk to someone, anybody, who would like to have a conversation about how we can make sure our cinema stays open.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Very sad to see. Well, retired AFL Premiership player Glenn Manton made a special visit to Port Pirie before the start of his Country Health SA tour. The TV and radio personality is inspiring kids to put down their phones and get back in touch with the outside world.
Glenn Manton isn't your ordinary retired AFL player. He swapped the football field for the classroom in a bid to help disenchanted youth find purpose within themselves.
Young people in particular right across this country are denied access to speakers, to opportunities because of geography, and that's something that I'm really against. Whether you're 2, 3, 4, 6 hours away from a central township, if you will, you deserve the opportunity.
Most would know Glenn as a former Australian rules footballer who played for Carlton and Essendon. However, he is now using his platform for what he believes is at the forefront of poor mental and physical health. His new book, Put Your Damn Phone Down, stresses the importance of teens removing themselves from technology in order to improve their well-being.
These young people are being polluted with social media issues, their own self-confidence issues, and of course all the mental health issues that are associated with the above mentioned, problems.
Youth at Risk has been at the forefront of Glenn's charity work for quite some time, and he's eager to tackle some of the stigmas surrounding mental health within our local teens. A charity event will be held at the Tivoli Hotel on the 20th of October, with all proceeds going towards funding the tour. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
We're 2 weeks out from Broken Hill's Silver City Cup and it's shaping up to be one of the best race meetings in years. Recent heavy rainfall has put the track in prime condition.
Not long till they're off and racing.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
Recent rain in the region has given the Broken Hill Racecourse track plenty of moisture, a delight to many trainers. Organisers say race nominations will be strong this year and all eyes will be on the Silver City Cup.
There've been everyone ringing up, quite a few have been inquiring on the distances, the classes and so forth. It's the first time for many years that we've had a great interest fair way out from the meeting. So look, we're the only race meeting from Mudgee to the South Australian border, so like last year we had 5 races, this year we've only got us.
Home and away star Tim Franklin will be a guest judge for the fashions and taking in the day's festivities, and there'll be plenty of spots to enjoy the event from.
Well, the best place in the house to see the days under the shade sails under the sun is also the members bar, which is under air conditioning if it is a bit hot, but also our prestigious marquee is always a good one for the people who want to be waited on and looked after by bar staff.
The Silver City Cup is also a family fun event compared to the city's other race meetings, St Pat's. There'll be plenty to keep kids entertained while mum and dad enjoy a punt and a pint.
The track's going to be fantastic, so we're asking all the families to come out to the Silver City Cup on the 27th of October.
Tickets can be purchased at the Silver City Races office on Crystal Street. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, Port Augusta Boxing Club returns to their old stomping ground after months of hard renovation work, and how a colourful fundraiser hopes to help rebuild Cleves Sporting Complex. Welcome back. Country Arts SA has unveiled a multi-million-dollar revamp of Whyala's Middleback Arts Centre. However, there's no money currently available to start work on the project.
It's a Middleback Arts Centre in the 21st century. Designs have been released for a proposed major overhaul. Among the features will be switching the entrance to the building to take advantage of its location.
Pretty much from Nicholson Avenue to Racecourse Road. So really, instead of saying the facade or the front of the building is Nicholson Avenue, it is actually a corner address.
Architects and Country SA staff briefed stakeholders while also gathering feedback. Also included are new community art spaces and a new black box space, which will feature retractable seating to allow for more intimate performances.
One of the brief early on in this project was really to create a smaller multi-purpose facility, and in this instance the introduction of a new black box.
But before the curtains go up, tens of millions of dollars in funding needs to be found.
You know, I have to be totally upfront. We don't have any investment lined up at the moment.
But Mr. Saffels is confident of finding investors.
And actually helps, I think, Whyala in its plans to attract professional people here and have people stay here.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The finish line is in sight for the Silverton Wind Farm. Work crews are just 10 turbines away from completing the construction phase of the project. 13 of the wind turbines are currently generating electricity. When it's fully functional, there will be 58. Strong winds in the region have caused some delays when craning the blades into place, but AGL still expects the project to be completed by the end of the year. Volunteers at Broken Hill's Sulphide Street Railway Museum are working on a very special project. After a number of old funfair relics were discovered in the city, the team is creating a room to showcase the items.
A treasure trove of funfair memories.
It's the John Brothers. It's the memorabilia from the Johns Brothers funfair that was in Broken Hill between the 1920s up to about the 1960s. So it took in a huge amount of Broken Hill social history.
About 2 years ago, the Sulphide Street Historical Museum decided to help the owners of the relics keep them in Broken Hill. And now the museum has constructed a display shed to house the items.
We're putting it all together, and it's looking absolutely wonderful.
Everything from ball clowns, ticket stubs, plaster prizes, rollerblades and sideshow games. It's a trip down memory lane for many. There's also plans for photographs and information cards to be installed.
It's really going to be a collection that they will love to see and just smile and reminisce.
The centrepiece of the collection is this old-fashioned carousel complete with the original horses. But Christine is calling on locals to help out the stallions.
Some of the horses, unfortunately, have lost their tails. We are really looking for some horsehair to retail probably about 8 of our horses.
Fixing the horse tails is just one of the many things to do before the collection is open to the public early next year. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
The gloves are back on for members of the Port Augusta Boxing Club, with the group returning to the old Town Hall site. After months of hard renovation work, a relaunch has seen more members join the club.
A circuit of high-intensity cardio and pulling no punches. The Port Augusta Boxing Club is back in business.
Last 30. Come on, let's move it. That's it. Good. Pump your knees.
After an absence of 3 years from the Town Hall site, the club has returned to the home of its glory days.
When we got the word that we were able to come back, it really got us all going.
The CBD location had been the home of boxing for over 25 years, but when it was sold by the state government in 2015, the club was forced to pack up their gloves and bags. But after being invited back by the new owner, the club has been hard at work renovating the site, and now they're starting to see the fruits of their labour.
I think we have about 50 current members.
We've had a lot of new people come and trying it out.
Although these sessions aren't for the faint-hearted.
The training is very tough. This week, being our first week, we've been quite mild with it. We're just building people up.
It helps push your fitness immensely. It's definitely a good thing to get into.
But for the 31-year-old club, they want to become more than just a fitness centre. The next goal is to get some fierce young competitors pulling on the gloves.
We're back here. We've got the doors back open, so we want to get some people to compete for the Port Augusta Boxing Club.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Port Pirie residents are now able to add their own personal touch to the town's new sporting precinct. Applications to purchase a picket are now available for anyone who wishes to get their name or even a personal message immortalised on the Oval's boundary.
Council wants to provide an opportunity for people to be part of it, either as individuals or as members of sporting clubs.
The council has tested a special coated film to ensure that the pickets will be able to survive the weather and even graffiti. The small town of Cleve saw its major sporting complex destroyed in South Australia's catastrophic storms 2 years ago. But a local colour run has seen some much needed funds raised to help rebuild the centre.
Some colourful fun for the community of Cleve. Locals were splashed with bombs of paint while walking along the town's brand new walking trail, all in a bid to raise funds for their damaged sporting complex.
Community complex was damaged by a storm in 2016 and so we've been working madly to fundraise to rebuild club rooms for the community.
The storm's destruction was extensive, ripping off the roof and destroying equipment inside, devastating the local community that loves to come together over football, netball and more.
In small regional towns, sport is something that brings everyone together.
The Colour Run was one of many events to raise money for a rebuild of the complex. 450 people joined in, raising a total of $14,000. The day also supporting those suffering with the drought.
We've also had lots of support from people all over the EP as well. So yeah, all EP is struggling with drought at the moment. So it's nice to bring everyone together to support this cause.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. I'll have the local weather details, and it's going to be a windy end to the week and temperatures are set to soar too. I'll have your forecast next. Hello again. Well, now it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. It was a mixed bag of weather around the Gulf today. Port Augusta was mostly fine, 23 the max. Some areas saw the odd shower, while it was gorgeous conditions in Broken Hill, sunny and 25 the max today. On the satellite, thick cloud over southern parts of SA with a trough, cold front and low pressure system is bringing some showers and thunderstorms, but skies are clearer in the northeast under a weak ridge of high pressure. Taking a look at the waters for your Wednesday, southwesterly shifting southerly winds up to 25 knots, seas at 3 metres and sunrise is at 6:37 and sunset will be just after 7:30 tomorrow night. So to the Wednesday forecast now, mostly fine conditions for all centres. Port Lincoln, Port Pirie, Clare and Kadina could see the odd shower. Port Augusta warming up to 23 degrees, Broken Hill 22 the top. So to the rest of the week, warming up for Thursday, Woodnut 28 for you. Windy conditions to end the week for Port Lincoln and Cleve, but temps will cool down and it will be pleasant for Saturday with maximums in the low 20s. Looking lovely for the next couple of days here, but again a wild windy Friday forecast and it will be hot too. Port Augusta warming up to 34 degrees, Whyalla 29, but it's set to calm down for Saturday as temps dip down to Whyalla 22 the top, Port Augusta 24 and Kadina 21 the high for Saturday. And most centres are in for a gorgeous day on Thursday before that wind hits everywhere. Port Pirie 33 on Friday, Broken Hill 30 degrees for you, but skies will clear for a mostly sunny Saturday, Clare 20 the top. And that's all from the team this Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Abby Donaldson. I'll have updates later. Until then, have a great evening. Good night.